Meet Serena, your virtual companion for emotional support. The ultimate safe space to discuss your thoughts, your fears, and the ups and downs of daily life. Start your free trial today at serena.chat.
My 32M wife, 29F, cheated on me. I don't know how to feel or what to do. Too long did not read. Wife cheated on me. I don't know how to feel or what to do. For those of you brave enough to read on. Good luck. Married for 6 years, have 5-year-old child. At time of writing it's been 18 hours since we've spoken and most things have come out. I've known what's been going on for 2 weeks due to my own suspicions, and she tells me that's as long as it's been going on, but I have reason to believe it's actually been going on longer. She tells me the only thing that happened was kissing and touching. I found a video accidentally uploaded to our shared photos that indicates messages, pictures, videos were also sent. I have an incredibly strong suspicion that more has happened. She told me she cut it off because she realized it wasn't worth it to ruin our marriage and destroy our family. She told me she loves me and she doesn't want us to split up, but she understands if it happens. Realistically, the only reason she did call it off is because I had been acting standoffish the last few days and she knew something must be up, and had I been acting normal and/or oblivious, it would have continued. Our relationship has never been fairy tale, but it had always been good. There's been ups and downs. She has a long history of diagnosed and untreated depression that comes and goes. The depression has definitely caused a lot of mental strain and exhaustion on my part, but I've always tried my best to support her and work through it as it comes. Our physical intimacy has taken a hit. We both work a lot, have a young child, have no family to babysit. Coupled with her depression and my exhaustion in trying to take care of everything else, physical intimacy has suffered. She has said in the past she wants me to try harder and initiate more, and I fully acknowledge that I should have, and by not doing so it gave her the motivation to look outside our relationship for it. That's not to say that I never touch her or initiate things, but I definitely don't do it enough. Now I find myself in a position where I don't know what to feel, what to do, or how to proceed. The person she cheated on me with works with her, and he is also married. She has a good job and generally speaking enjoys her work and has a close group of friends there, so I don't want her to quit. I know that if we were to work things out, and she quit her job, she would lose that friend group and it could cause more issues and depression. She says that she will limit the amount of time she needs to spend with him and keep things strictly professional. I have been to get-togethers at this man's house. I have got along with him and his wife well enough. Meanwhile, they have both been having their affair. I have this strange urge to go and knock on his door, confront him in front of his family, and make everyone aware of what's been happening. But I also know that's probably a dumb idea. Since we spoke 18 hours ago, my wife and I haven't really said much to each other. We've saved face in front of our child, but that's it. Typically we message each other fairly regularly throughout the day, but today we haven't said a word. And I've found myself feeling lost all day. I've wanted to grab my phone and message her, but every time I do, I just stare blankly then go back to my work to distract myself. We have the kind of relationship where any issues have been worked out very quickly. Potentially we just manage to ignore them and move on, and this is the culmination of that. I don't know. I am worried that if we linger on what happened, it will just make things worse. I am also worried that if we ignore it, move on, and in a week are laughing and joking again, it will never be dealt with. I can see a future where we are still together. But with that, I can't see a point in time where there won't ever be that tiny voice in the back of my head that make me constantly suspicious of her. I can see a future where we aren't together anymore as well. Strangely, for me at least, I don't feel angry with her. Logically I can see why she did what she did. Someone else made her feel more wanted than I've made her feel recently, and she ended up following her urges. Until now, I've just felt nothing. Writing this has made me feel more emotions than I typically ever do about anything, and this strange liquid is attempting to escape my eyes, but I can very quickly ignore those feelings and move on. On the one hand, I want to push her for more information and confirm if anything else happened. I am 99% sure it did. I don't know if her confirming or denying it will change anything or give me any more or less clarity. On the other hand, I just want this to be over. I want to either have things back to normal with my wife, or split up and know that things are just over. It's only been 18 hours and I already hate this awkward limbo. I don't know what to do. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. I don't know how to proceed. So here I am at the hive mind. How do I deal with this? Divorce. Tell dude's wife. Accept the fact that she's only going to tell you what you already know. It's interesting that they always cheat because of their depression. She only says that she broke it off because she realized that she's gotten caught, and if she still works with AP, it will never really be over. Her friend group at work will cover for her. Op. Sorry you're here. It's always worse than your WW will tell you. This is not going to be easy, do not jump into anything right now. Although you're in shock, and eventually you come to terms with how your WW has destroyed your family. What consequences has WW faced for cheating? And she back with her AP as though nothing has happened. Recommend contacting the app's wife, she deserves to know, immediately. If your WW is not going to quit, you'll never be able to reconcile. AP will always be there to sneak around with. If app's wife knows, at least he'll face accountability on his end. This might cause your WW to lose her job, but it's a consequence for her cheating actions. No way this is real. Your wife's fucking her coworker, she's not going to stop fucking her coworker. Your only options are to leave or accept her fucking her coworker. I think you know what you know. Don't torture yourself. That bond of trust has been shattered forever. If you're okay with that, and okay to continue a lifelong relationship, always wondering in the back of your mind, always suspicious of any odd behavior, always knowing she is willing and capable to fuck other guys, then stay. If none of that sounds palatable, you have to leave. How can I be intimate with my husband, 31M, when he asked me, 30F, to get an abortion? My husband, 31M, and I, 30F, have been together for 13 years, married 7, and have 4 children, 5 years, 3.5 years, 2 years and 8 male. Long before marriage we agreed we wanted 4 children close in age together. After the birth of our last, I asked him to get a vasectomy because I had gone under 4 cesareans and our hospital does not do to tubal ligations without undergoing another procedure after recovery from birth. In the past, I have tried multiple birth control methods, all leaving me with horrible side effects. Recently I discovered I'm pregnant with surprise baby number 5. After breaking the news to my husband, he was ecstatic. Fast forward a couple weeks, and he asked me to get an abortion, while I'm 10W4D. Our state does not allow abortions after 6 weeks, and the bordering state does them up until 11 weeks. Talk about a last-minute decision. Devastated by his request, I asked if I were to follow through with the process, if he then would get a vasectomy. His response: "No, that is my manlyhood, I'd rather just not have sex." I'm still trying to process his request, and am looking for advice from people looking in from the outside. Because as of right now, I can't even imagine having another intimate moment with him. I did not, and do not want to force the vasectomy procedure on him. Since baby number 3 he has told me he would get a vasectomy after baby number 4, since before marriage we agreed 4 is what we wanted. After the delivery of number 4, he discussed getting the appointment scheduled after I was cleared at my 6-week postpartum appointment. After that, one thing after another in life and excuse after excuse was made to why he couldn't get an appointment made and how he'd do it later. I didn't push him then to do it, and I'm not pushing him now. But I feel misled considering he was all for it before, and now when push comes to shove he's not interested at all. I felt that if it was an abortion he wanted, he then should take all measures to make sure it wouldn't happen again. Which is why I gave him the ultimatum. Because if I were to go through with an abortion now with no precautions made by him, what's not to say he'd ask me to repeat it? As for everyone asking about condoms, y'all are right. Nothing wrong with them. But sometimes with 4 little kids you just got to do it when you have the chance. If you know, and if you don't you wouldn't understand anyways. Yes, we are both at fault and knew the consequences. However, I don't think he considered them that heavily, as I've never had a cycle this early postpartum. As far as why he suddenly made a 180 on his thoughts of the future child, he said he had time to think it over and didn't know how to approach me about the situation. He thinks the 4 we have is great, but he doesn't see how a 5th would fit in. He said he's not interested in a vasectomy because he talked to some guys at work and apparently they warned him the orgasms are not as intense and not the same as before, therefore he doesn't actually ever want the procedure and still would rather a sexless marriage than getting snipped. Your husband is an asshole. A huge, no doubt about it, cowardly asshole. Edit. I've never had so much love just for accurately calling someone an asshole. Many thanks. Holy shit. He's not as manly as he thinks if his idea of birth control is abortion or abstinence. Banging your wife is manly. Not making babies you don't want is manly. My husband and many other are snipped, it takes 10 minutes. Sex is pretty rad when you don't have to worry about making a baby you don't want or have to learn all the abortion laws in your region of the country. As if abortion isn't expensive and painful. Why is it manly for you to endure pain but not him? This is bunk. Not to be rude, but did a condom break? Y'all are obviously fertile. Since you can't imagine having another intimate moment with him, and he said he'd rather not have sex than get a vasectomy, problem solved? So, why the change of heart? He was thrilled and then out of nowhere asks for an abortion. What changed? I'd get to the bottom of that first. A woman should never be pressured into an abortion by the father. Tell him to get his balls snipped. BF, 32M, is best man at his best friend's wedding but I'm 26F, not invited, help? Bit of a complicated story. But basically my BF, M, 32, and I, F, 26, started dating a year ago, a few months after he got out of a LTR with his ex. Before we met, him and his ex were engaged for a few months, he proposed and broke off the engagement. He was satisfied with his decision to break off the engagement, but his ex was not, and since we've been dating, she has tried quite a few things to sabotage our relationship and keep him from moving on with me. That being said, we are incredibly serious about each other. He has made it clear to me I am the one he wants to marry and wants to build a life together. So my BF's best friend's wedding is coming up in the fall. They have been best friends since high school and my boyfriend is not only best man, but the only groomsman in the wedding party. The wedding is 150,200 people. They are extremely close friends, yet I am not invited to the wedding. My boyfriend has made efforts to talk to the groom and take me as his date, but the couple getting married has skirted around his requests and basically said that they don't have wiggle room and have too many people already. That's fine. Whatever, but typically people drop out of the wedding or something happens, and accommodating one more person, especially the significant other of your best man, shouldn't be that big of a deal, right? Come to find out, my BF's ex is close friends with the bride and she has construed this plot to convince the bride not to invite me, in hopes that she will get my boyfriend alone and be able to talk to him at the wedding without me there. He has her blocked on everything, so this is her once chance. Basically, I am upset because although I know my boyfriend can't do anything to convince the couple to have me come, it feels like he hasn't made a ton of valiant efforts to do so, and I don't feel like he's done enough to advocate for me even though he has made efforts. I also am anxious thinking about his ex-GF being there and what types of measures she will take to get him alone. Additionally, I can't believe his best friend would be okay putting him in an uncomfortable situation with his ex there and not taking his requests to have me there into account. I'm sad I am not invited to this event and don't know how to navigate it. Any advice appreciated. Wow, your boyfriend sucks. I genuinely can't imagine wanting to stay with someone who was fine with his friends, excluding his partner because they have plans to help him get back with his ex. You really need to think about this because the fact that he isn't absolutely livid about this weird and childish manipulation and disrespect of you means he doesn't really value your relationship as much as you think he does, and honestly is kinda still into his ex. Sorry, but this is a hard no for me, it's too messed up. I'm struggling to figure out just why the hell your boyfriend is okay with his best friend's future wife orchestrating this setup between your boyfriend and his ex. You're right that he can't force them to invite you, but you know what he can do. Drop the fuck out of the wedding, especially if it's been confirmed this is why you were not invited. If you trust your man, no one can take him from you. That's relationship security. The only exception to this is when the woman unknowingly drugs the man that makes him lose control. Weddings when your partner is in the wedding party are boring. He'll be too busy being best man to spend any significant time with you, and since the plot by his ex is the worst kept secret, he can enlist other high school friends to provide a buffer. Treat yourself to a spa day on the wedding. Wouldn't you be embarrassed to attend knowing they don't want you there? The ex will probably know they didn't want you there too, just so you know, because the bride will tell her you gauchely forced an invite out of them. If you trust your boyfriend, I think you should drop your attempts to get an invite. Focus instead on your relationship. Apologize to your boyfriend for pushing so hard. Explain that you are feeling insecure in the relationship since it feels like his closest friends prefer the ex to you, but that you love and trust him and realized you don't want to cause him trouble in what you know is an important occasion for him. My boyfriend, 23M, is refusing to talk to me, 20F, after I asked him to get an STD test. Throwaway account because my friends follow me on here. I, 20F, am a virgin. My boyfriend, 23M, is not. We've known each other since high school, but just started dating about 6 months ago after being friends for years. I'm afraid of physical contact for many reasons, some of which I'm sure you can infer, and he's been very patient with me for wanting to wait to do anything past making out. However, about a week ago, I told him I trusted him and felt like I was ready. He seemed excited but of course made sure to ask if I really meant it, and I said yes, on one condition. I asked that he get an STD test before we did anything just to make sure he's healthy. He immediately got defensive and accused me of not trusting him. I told him that's not the case, but because he's been with other people in the past I think it would be a good idea to get one. He refused and now I feel like I may have been in the wrong. He said he feels like it's a waste of time because he's clean and if I trusted him like I said I do, I would let it go. I understand being frustrated maybe, but he knows all about my struggles with physical touch and I would hate for my only consensual experience to cause me to get an STD. He offered to use protection, but even I know that that doesn't always stop transfers of STDs. I even offered to get one as well, that way it was something we did together, but he still refused. I really do love him and I do trust him. It's making me feel like I'm being ridiculous for asking him to get a test, but I'm unsure. I was told it was normal to ask for your partner to get tested before you do anything, but a few other people I've told about this have told me it's not as common as it probably should be. I think from his perspective it's a little embarrassing for your partner to ask for you to get an STD test, and I think he may be offended by my request. He's refused to talk to me the last few days and I've apologized but told him I'm firm on my request. I am giving him space but I am not sure what to do. Was there another way for me to ask, or should I not have asked at all? I feel like maybe I could have brought it up earlier in the relationship, but I never really thought much about it until these last few weeks. Good job at setting boundaries for yourself. Bravo. If he can't respect this, please do not let him sleep with you. If he can't go get a simple test, then he doesn't actually respect you or care about you. You are not in the wrong. You did what is best for you. Be proud of yourself and stay strong in this. If he is making you feel ridiculous, and second-guessing yourself, that is manipulation and a form of abuse whether he's aware of this or not. Also, ignoring you and silencing communication is a form of abuse and it's extremely immature. If he cannot talk about this openly, he has no business having sex with you, or anyone. Asking a new sexual partner for test results isn't inappropriate at any phase of your life. You did the right thing by asking, and if he doesn't see why it's important, then he's not the one. Your request is valid and smart. Too few get tested when they should. Yes, he can feel like you don't trust him, but that's for him to work through, and his reaction isn't demonstrating his concern or respect for you. This request is normal. What he's doing is manipulative and the silent treatment is abusive. Do not date someone like this. I do not understand the reaction at all. When my husband and I were about to start having sex, we both had the tests done. I regretted not doing that with my previous one when I was a virgin. If he is not willing to give you that assurance, then you should not be willing to have sex with him.